Hi, and welcome to Three Questions with. Got my friend Donna with us from Check and Balance Business Solutions. Good afternoon, my friend. How you been?
Good, good. How are you?
I just living the dream, my friend. So why don't
Yeah.
we stop at the beginning? Tell us a little bit about your business.
Yeah, so my business processes bookkeeping and accounting for other business owners. So we work strictly with other businesses all over the country. We're completely virtual, so we work remotely and we have clients from New Hampshire to California and back. And so we provide the day-to-day bookkeeping services, but some of the more higher end accounting stuff. So handling your assets, treatment of liabilities, so you buy a new piece of equipment, we make sure that's recorded properly on your financials. We make sure that the loans are being properly split between principal and interest, things like that. We also do reporting and analyzation, CFO, fractional CFO work, cash flow projections, things like that. We basically handle everything business accounting related, except for income tax filing. Do everything else but that.
It's always funny when we bring up accounting and bookkeeping and see people cringe. It just, most people really don't like it. And I'm like, that's okay,
Yeah,
but outsource it. Like, if
exactly.
you know you're not going to do it, you're going to be 6 months behind on your stuff, outsource it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we're just not seeing, maybe a change in pricing we should have, or hey, it's been a tough year on pricing on your supplies. When we had the lumber issues, back a ways, and lumber price was going up, people were joking, it's more valuable than a diamond ring, lumber is, you know. But okay, so if you're not paying attention to that because you're not doing your bookkeeping, all of a sudden you're like, heck, I actually lost money on these last few jobs. You
Right.
can't just leave it, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can't just leave it. And when you get to that point of it's been 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, and you haven't seen these things, you can't possibly make the right business decision or the next best move if you don't know what those numbers are. And you also could cause yourself a lot of heartache in the long run because then all of a sudden you don't have the money to fund payroll or pay your suppliers the next delivery that's due or whatever it is that you need that cash flow for. Maybe it's even paying yourself. Maybe now you can't take a paycheck for yourself because things weren't looked at on a regular basis. And so when you keep up to date and you outsource that stuff and somebody like us handles that and we're producing financials for you every single month, you're getting that reporting that you need to say, hey, all right, I'm killing it. This is great. Now let's work on how do we strategize and take that and grow. Or, whoa, I didn't realize that my suppliers went up so much on my product. Maybe I need to find new suppliers. Maybe I need to renegotiate my contracts. Maybe I just need to raise my prices because I haven't raised my prices in 3 years. There's a lot of different things that come into play. And so making sure that you're on top of that stuff and looking at everything on a monthly basis is very important. And so we can handle all of the dirty work for you and just give you the pretty little report that you see your numbers and whether or not you're making money.
I was kind of chuckling, having a little flashback when you're talking about assets and depreciation. I worked in a company where the president would ask me, what was profitability for a month? And then he would give me a depreciation figure. Just make it up. I'm like, you have no idea. Like, they never tracked their assets. They're like, all right, we had a good month, so take X for depreciation.
Oh, geez.
Like, no schedules, nothing. He just made it up. And, eventually got a CFO and they like, you can't do that stuff.
Right.
So, you need to treat your assets properly, but also it's important to plan for them. I've
Mhm.
just seen people, they need a new truck. They're an electrician and
Right.
they didn't plan for it. They're like, oh my God, the transmission went on a truck. We obviously need a truck. We can't be an electrician without it, but
Right.
there's no money. So you
Right.
kind of guide people on, how to prepare for the future too, obviously.
Absolutely, absolutely we do. And so that's part of some of the consultation work that we do with people. And it doesn't have to be an ongoing monthly process. We can do it quarterly, or you could just reach out and say, hey, I'd love to have a session with you and we can book one of those sessions. But yeah, that's exactly what we do. We say, okay, if you want to hire 5 people in 6 months or buy a new truck or buy a new piece of equipment, land, whatever it is, right? We say, okay, this is what it's going to take. This is the reserves that you need. This is the reserve you already have. It's always good practice to have 6 months reserve of your operating expenses anyway. So then you got to think above and beyond that. What is that going to take now to purchase that? And how are we going to purchase it? Is it going to be financed? Is it not going to be financed? I mean, if interest rates keep falling and things get great and you can get 0%, 2% financing and that's worth your advantage, then great, do it. Today, 7%, maybe not. But, you know, we try to predict that and try to say, okay, what is the cash outlay gonna be? What is the continued cash outlay if it's not a full purchase, you know, price in full? And then how do we treat that and how does it, you know, advance our tax strategy?
I like your advice about the 6 months of expenses and
Mhm.
I just see people have a couple great months and they just give themselves a really big salary. And I'm like, I know how tempting that is, but then, you have that bad month and you're like, I'm not really sure if I have enough for, assets, money in the bank to, cover my expenses, do my
Mhm.
payroll and stuff. So it really is important to listen to your bookkeeper and have that preferably at least 6 months so that if you get into a bad, time, something happens,
Yeah.
it's okay. You can stand through it.
Absolutely, absolutely. You need that reserve, you know, a minimum of 3, ideally 6. Because again, you're right. You never know when anything could happen and turn downward. You know, you could lose a client, you could miss out on a big job that you thought you were going to get that you bid on. You know, something could drastically change and all of a sudden you lose an employee, which means now you can't perform on the project. So now you don't have as much revenue. So there's all these different things that come into play. Or like you said, an emergency, say you own a building or say you own a truck or you own, you know, these things and something goes wrong and a huge repair has come due. And so now you need to find $5, $10, $15,000 to work with that. You should have something to fall back on, just like in life. We need to have, you know, a few months worth of savings in the account in case we lose our job and can't make our mortgage. You got to do the same in the business just in case these things come up because you don't want to lay people off if you don't have to, especially if you can rebound from something that's causing that downturn in 1 month and possibly maybe a little bit longer. So
Donna, what's the best way for people to reach out to you? How can I learn more, my friend?
yeah, they can learn more by going to our website, which is checkandbalancesolutions.com. We're also on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram. So you can find us at Check and Balance Solutions. That way, you could also send an email to info@checkandbalancesolutions.com and book a consultation.
Awesome, Donna. I
All
appreciate
right.
your minutes come on the show. And as always, thanks for being
Yeah,
my friend.
absolutely. Thank you.